Hello everyone and welcome back to Icebane Gaming. Today I am going to be doing another time lapse. This one was more so just a little sketch I did while I was working on the next grotesque Pokemon, which is going to be Eevee, by the way. I felt like having a little break and I chose to draw my old OC, Jazz. Let's get started, huh? Alright, so I started off with like just some general head shape and was trying to figure out where everything would be located. Just sketching Jazz as I felt like I would. Just going through and trying to get all of her main features, just having fun with it. I wasn't really following any proper steps for foundations. I was just drawing and going with it. You could see that I messed around with the eyes quite a lot early on, and the ear placement. I just didn't feel like it was quite right until a bit later. Even this doesn't get kept. I bring them close together here. And I keep trying to free ball it, and I realized that I would not be able to figure it out if I didn't start trying to do some proportions. I was trying to figure out how her chest would be in this photo, but I realized she would be facing slightly away, so it would be more so just the side. You would not see both. And I realized that since it was a little too close, I decided to zoom it out, and I made it so that I could see all the parts that would not be visible with the size that I had it initially. Decided to make her hold a camera. At this point, I realized that my old OC Jazz, I've been too attached with making her character the way that she was, and I realized I didn't write any flaws for Jazz, and I didn't find her very relatable, so I decided to make her like film, because I like film. That's relatable to me, so I could write about it. Which, I mean, at this point, I don't even know if I'm ever going to actually make the comic I was planning on making with Jazz and May. But while Jazz came first, May, the raccoon that I made to be the opposite of Jazz, I ended up liking her character a lot more. It's like Akira Toriyama with Vegeta. Written to be a side character, the opposite of the main character, ends up liking them more. That kind of thing. Anyways, I finish up some of the rough. This is still the rough sketch here. The final lines will come in a bit. Just trying out different things, making sure that the proportions are correct, using a line there to make sure that the arm length is correct, because from shoulder to elbow should be the same as elbow to knuckle. With proportions, generally speaking. And here I start the final lines, the line cleanup section, I should say. I get a little slow around the eyes, because I always spend a lot of time with eyes. I just enjoy making them. I look pretty. I've always enjoyed making eyes, ever since back when I was still sketching things in my sketchbooks. But yeah, just a lot of line cleanup here. I end up messing around with the mouth a lot, and where it ends up for a while, I end up not liking and going back before making this video to adjust the position. But yeah, since Jazz was supposed to be like a accountant for like a record label originally, I felt like I have no idea how that side of the world works, so I just gave up on that entire story point. Since I got my degree in film production, I know how to write film production type things. So yeah, I made her out there shooting out a little video with that there camera. Tried to make the camera as detailed as possible, and yeah. The lines for like the back and stuff, super simple. Just pounded them out. I ended up moving the head a bit so that it would be a little more back towards where the spine is. She still has issues with her spine, but whatever. I finished the drawing. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I ended up messing with the lips a little bit more, end up making them not much better. I decided the eyebrow was looking a little too aggressive, so I made it a little softer with a little bit of a tilt backwards. And overall, this is just a cleanup step. Now I'm getting into the color flats. I'm making sure all the holes are filled up so that it wouldn't flash as much. Fair warning, there are flashing lights around color flats usually with my drawings. You'll see a little blink here and there. I tried to make sure that it didn't flash as much. And since it's showing the whole picture, it's not really as noticeable or as dangerous for people with epilepsy. I started shooting, recording the videos with a second window that's been popped out, and that window now just keeps things at a steady camera angle so I can move around and flip my canvas as much as I want on the other canvas, the one that I'm working on, and this one would just stay in the same position. I really struggled with the ear back there a little bit, and I decided I was going to do a little bit of a color change. I made the dark area that goes from the bottom of her eye to her chin go up into her eyelashes, her eyelids, kind of like eyeliner. I spent a bit more time on the eyes here, ended up making them look a little more shiny. And I started work on the tail and the rest of the color flats. The color of her outfit's a little more desaturated than it used to be. That was a stylistic choice. I just didn't feel like keeping things the same if I'm going to be changing her character that much. And I couldn't decide what color I wanted the pants to be, so I ended up on this very muted purple color. Here I start adding the stripes to the tail. And this is really just a long process in general. Doing this little bit of the color flats, but once it's done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. I've constantly thought about ways that I could be doing this quicker, but I just like how it looks with the fuzziness of the lines. You don't even see it this far back the way that I would, seeing it up close. But like I make the lines all very spread out, kind of like hair. Decided to end up making the background black for a temporary little bit, and I started coloring my lines. I kept any lines that it fit at a bronze brown type of color because, well, it's a pleasant color. It makes me think of like a gold enamel pin, which, I mean, I like gold enamel pins. Here I do another canvas flip, but like a full-on canvas flip, so that I could view it in a different way. Started working on the background, started with a gradient of purple to pink, and I thought to myself, this could be like a late sunset color palette. And here I was struggling to figure out how I wanted to do the clouds this time. I've never had a consistent way of doing clouds, at least not with Clip Studio Paint. I used to have a way I would like to do it when I was still using Photoshop, but I stopped using Photoshop a while ago. Decided to make the little silhouette of the buildings before I continued with the clouds. Here I put the clouds on the wrong layer, and when I noticed, I deleted them, even though I liked how they looked. And here I make some more clouds. And while I liked how they looked, I decided they were a little too big, so I squished them and put them in the back a little bit more. And then I had to make more clouds up here, make it look more like a shadow, because they're no longer in the sunlight, it's just the light that's catching them as it's coming through. And I started working on the night sky as it's fading in, add little stars here and there, and I'm about to add like a Milky Way type thing, like the clouds of like the nebulas between us and the center of the Milky Way. Made the clouds a little deeper in color, added a little bit of light to contrast as well, and I realized light, I must add a lamp so that I have some frame of reference on where the light's gonna be. And I decided to make it a backlit picture. So this is the simple shading. And I start making it a little deeper as I go, adding more and more detail. I keep on getting told by other professionals that I need to keep pushing my values down, make them get even deeper shadows. I still feel like I could have gone deeper, but whatever. A little bit of rim lighting, because it looks a little fun. Made colored rim lighting on the other side to make it more of an ambient thing. To make things pop out a bit more, and I decided to go with like a noir, like this gal's got a secret type of film thing, by making the eyes lit up, but not the rest. Like even if it doesn't make sense for the shading, that's something that you see a lot in film to symbolize that the person has an idea. Most people don't really notice, but film students, we notice. We notice indeed. I started making the shadows have a little bit more texture here. I felt like they were a little too soft, so I decided to make them feel like they were actually hair. I think I kept the clothes more or less the same with their shading, but the anywhere where there was fur, I would make the shading a little deeper. Here I did another canvas flip, so that Jazz would be facing the right way, considering the layout of her camera. And then I did a little bit more with the shading. I wanted to make it feel a little more detailed, but ended up not keeping some of the lighter bits in the hair that I added. And there I thought I was done, but then I realized when I was about to make this video, mouth placement was terrible, and I didn't put my signature, and also the colors. I wanted to make them line up a bit more. So I added a tint layer to make the colors all follow the same scheme, and then I realized that I needed to break out my tablet to do the finishing touches, because my signature is hard to do with a mouse. And here I realized just how much of a pain my tablet was going to be acting today, because it didn't want to do it on the right monitor. It kept on changing which monitor it was acting with, so I had to keep on swapping cables and stuff like that. So that's why I was jumping around a bunch. And here I finally got my tablet working. And yeah, that's the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was just a little sketch. I don't really have time to make an in-depth video this week. I probably will edit a bit later this week, but that's going to be for next week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go with, for this video, comment what you think Jazz and May would do on a Friday night. I don't know. Just something. We'll see, like, what people's fan theories are. I mean, you don't even have to be a fan. Just come up with a theory. Jazz being now a film student, and May being a former delinquent getting her life on track. But yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And most importantly, have a good one. Bye.